Now this right here is an example of what I've been telling y'all when I said that racism is systematically done. Okay, it's bigger than just individual. Like, it's set up for you to think racist your whole life. You know what I'm saying? Through the system, and you never really realize it. Some people do, some people don't. But disclaimer first. You know what I'm saying? Because this is not my video. It's something I saw on YouTube, but it was crazy. And I can't describe it like that because I don't really watch cartoons like that. Comic books, I wasn't into comic books like that.
And Thurgood Marshall to James Brown.
Up to the devastating and shocking news that actor Chadwick Boseman has died.
From Jackie Robinson and Thurgood Marshall to James Brown, he really just, I think, embodied, immortalized so many black legends, and in the process of doing that, he became one himself. Of course, he was best known for playing the Black Panther.
On August 28th, 2020, Chadwick Boseman passed away at 43 years old due to his fight with colon cancer. He played so many iconic characters, but the one that many will associate him with is Black Panther. Black Panther, since its first appearance in 1966, has been such a cultural and important piece of comic book history, especially in a time where blacks were not well received in the era of comic book print. There's a lot to unpack here in this piece, so I'm going to cover 3 instances where...
And look, he said back then, no, this is now. Blacks still don't get good comic book roles and comic book characters. Look at all the comic book characters you know. How many of them is black and actually holding stuff down? Like, they always make the black superheroes the second counterparts to the white superheroes. And I'm just being real with you. We ain't on no racist stuff. I'm on real life right now. Why is that done through the system if that's not going to perpetuate you to feel like the white superheroes are more powerful than the black superheroes? Right? Y'all need to see what's going on.
Comic books normalize racism and essentially drop the ball.
And to be real with you, Black Panther was like the first black superhero that was actually holding it down. You know what I'm saying? Gave him a good character to where he seemed like he was powerful.
And creating positive black characters. Honorable mentions go to Marvel for creating Falcon's backstory into a pimp, and Jon Stewart almost being renamed to Lincoln Washington. 6 months after the release of Black Panther, DC Comics felt they needed to answer to Marvel's newest superhero. However, in 1967, since at the height of the Civil Rights Movement, the comic book industry, more specifically DC, wanted a black superhero. Yet they didn't. So, they created a new superhero to defend Africa. The backstory being a white man travels to Africa, drinks mysterious rainwater from the caves, and now he's bigger, stronger, and has the ability to read the minds of animals. Bwana Beast has several different names, such as Jungle Master, Shining Man, and White God. Okay. He still appears in the comics and in other forms of DC media, but his appearances are few and far between. Oh boy. This is where DC goes full insane. Under lots of pressure from the fans and the severe lack of black superheroes, DC needed a black superhero. Enter Murray Boltinoff. Murray Boltinoff, who was a DC editor at the time, wanted a black superhero, however, pushed his own extreme views of blacks on the pages of the comic. Tyrock was a former slave that found refuge on an island off the coast of Africa that would appear every 200 years. So it would come back to Earth and be present where people can visit it, not really, every 200 years. Because according to Boltinoff, as long as the comic does have black people, it was important to make sure that they weren't always in the comics and the island was always unreachable. And he was a black racist. Not including the fact that Tyrock also wore a white jumper, afro, gold chains, a gold chain belt. DC did everything they could to undermine the black civil rights movement by introducing a problematic character such as Tyrock. So let's get to the most problematic character in comic book history. Before Black Panther, before Bwana Beast, before Tyrock, Marvel created their most damaging character yet. From the Young Allies book, it was a team comprising of Bucky Barnes, this was pre-Winter Soldier Bucky Barnes, Knuckles, Jeff, Tubby, and Whitewash Jones. Yes, Whitewash Jones. Whitewash Jones was every black stereotype in comic book form. He was portrayed heavy as a dim-witted black sidekick who spoke as if he was right out of a minstrel show. His appearances were only in the Young Ally series and never branched out into the other comics. It's important to understand the impact that Black Panther presented to African Americans when the movie was released 2 years ago. But it's even more important that early comic book history was fueled by racist ideology that until the creation of Black Panther, we had to rely on racial stereotypes. Black Panther paved the way for Luke Cage, Jon Stewart, Storm from the X-Men, Black Lightning, Static Shock, Bishop, Blade, Spawn, Falcon, Miles Morales, and many others to have their place in comic book history.
It's the season.
Now, what you gotta understand is, yes, we do have them black superheroes now. But just actually analyze their characters and see what I'm talking about. They put more black superheroes in, but they made sure that their backstories and who they are was not as strong as the other ones that was already there, that they've been made. Right? This is a PC move. It's just done to make people go to sleep and not really pay attention to the fact that for all them years you didn't even want to put a decent black character in there, and now you want to just because of the outrage. Now you feel like you have to because, it's like affirmative action. You didn't want to give black people a job, but you got to give them a job so that you don't look like you racist. Does that mean you're not racist? You got to understand how they go, man. That might be over some people's heads. But this your boy D, man. I'm signing out. Thank y'all for listening. Please hit that thumbs up for your boy. And remember, if you ain't getting knowledge, you ain't getting nothing. I do this